All right, guys. So as you all know, the American general election is coming up at the end of this year, which has a lot of people talking about where campaign funds are going to go, what kind of ads are going to be running, and in what districts and in what states, how much of a difference it's going to make, polling data, all of these things. But while the Republicans are currently working to dismantle our democracy as part of their policy platform going into 2024, I want to remind you all what that kind of future looks like. Now, if you think I'm joking about that like Republicans and like the populist right are just outright admittedly pushing to destroy democracy in America, look no further than this Tim Pool tweet I woke up to this morning that I promptly followed up with a based as fuck Helldivers meme. Tim Pool tweeted, "Democracy should be illegal." Just the mask is just coming off, I suppose. Like, no regard anymore. And I replied, "That's not very liberty of you." And then this cool Helldivers meme. These conservative automaton/bug sympathizing Twitter posts attacking democracy lately are getting out of hand. The Helldivers will not stand for it, frankly. Now, the Republicans want to dismantle our democracy. And I think right now, more so than ever, is an important time for us to look at what would happen if the Republicans succeeded. And I think there's no better place to look at what would happen if the Republicans succeeded than another country that the Republicans have been working very sneakily with to try to solidify their power in the US government. That country in question is Russia. You see, Russia doesn't have real elections. Like, let's be real. Putin always wins. It's an oligarchy. He has solidified power. It's like a big crime family that runs the country, but they have enough firepower and guns and people under them that instead of being called a mob, they technically qualify as a government. Now, what do you think it would look like if Russia, who fakes elections, it's a one-party state, exactly. They fake elections. As you all know, Alexei Navalny, who is literally the forefront, enemy of Putin in the political sphere, was just recently died of mysterious causes, and then his mother was basically tormented by the Russian state and Putin into agreeing to a private funeral so that nobody could quote-unquote martyr him or worship him. They don't have free elections, which is why you may be confused by the fact that Russia actually has political campaign ads that they run against their political rivals, despite there being no fair and equal elections and no chance of the politics of those rivals, those rivals ever getting anywhere in politics because they can't actually win. The Russian government still runs ads against those opponents. Now, the reason for this is that those ads don't actually function as political ads meant to convince people to vote or support Putin. Well, they do, but that's not their main purpose. Their main purpose is to back up the claim and the belief that Russia's elections are fair and that Russia is a free country when it is not. Now, when you see these ads that I'm about to show you, or just this one ad that I'm about to show you, what I want you to think about, and this is a Russian campaign ad for Putin's party, I want you to think about I want you to imagine it airing in America. And I want you to tell me if it seems like it's too crazy or too Russian, quote-unquote, for it not to fit with the American right. And I think you're going to realize something very quickly upon watching even the first 30 seconds of this ad, which is all I've seen before I cut myself off, which is the American right is either just ripping takes from the Russians, or the Russians are ripping takes from the American right. Or vice versa, or both are happening. I genuinely don't know, because the similarities to me are astonishing. So I actually saw this initially posted by a friend of the channel named Dylan Burns. He posted, "My favorite ad for the Russian quote-unquote election cycle warns of the future gay Nazi Reich with heterosexual ghettos that will descend on Russia if Russians don't mobilize to vote. Also, the Nazi gays wear gimp and use dildos as torture weapons. Translated ad below. Fucking wild. Absolutely fucking wild caption. I'm genuinely scared to show the screen for this ad, but I'm pretty certain that, like, the Russian government putting, like, up a campaign ad isn't gonna show anything that's not allowed on YouTube, you know? But, this is actually a Russian anti-gay propaganda piece made by the government to air in Russia, we're about to see. It is in Russian, and it has subtitles, so I'm going to, speak the subtitles out over the video with my worst Russian accent I can pull off. Prepare for some serious cringe. Gay Liberator Street, 69. Nikolai, trying to sit on 2 chairs.
Зеля, включи музыку.
Is that a gay Nazi flag? Your social credit score has increased. Don't forget to listen to him before sleep. What? Okay, can we just rewind for a sec? Can we just rewind really fast? For one, this is a pretty nice place. Like, I will admit, not a bad-looking apartment. I'll give them that. Like, if this is the gay future, and, like, the apartments look like this, and people can afford to live in them, that's not a complaint. That's at least one benefit. Now, this is clearly meant to represent the Nazi flag. Because Russia does this weird, far-right, but also, posting themselves up and faking as a progressive left, perhaps even communist government at times, and they sort of, like, weaponize the fact that the Soviet Union fought against the Nazis in a weird way in their propaganda, and they also, like, accuse Ukraine of being Nazis and say that they are denazifying Ukraine. So there's this weird, like, far-right but anti-Nazi rhetoric they engage in. It's not honest. It's in no way honest, but it's very interesting how they do that, and then they tie in the pride flag with what appears to be reminiscent, at least, of that, like, Nazi eagle symbol that I can't remember the name of right now. Nor do I care. I don't need to remember the name of Nazi imagery.
Зеля, включи музыку.
Ваш социальный рейтинг повышен. Не забудьте послушать гимн еще и перед сном.
The Iron Eagle, I guess. Quickly, Rainbow, come over our country. 102 genders auto-love. And we shall drown the earth in gayness. This is a banger. Heterosexuals aren't for men. That makes no sense to me. I don't know if that's a translation error or what. Heterosexuals aren't for men? Okay. Chat, why is their kid's name Barack? Is it a reference to Barack Obama? It's a reference to Obama? Is that what it is? Really? It's called the fascist ad being incoherent. That is true. It's a fascist ad. Like, we're literally watching the real-life version of Super Earth propaganda right now. What was that edit? Last child not born from a Petri dish. So, where is this conservative idea? As the right is attacking IVF, which is a service that allows people to have babies when they otherwise might not have been able to. Why is that, like, being attacked by the right unanimously, but then their attack against the left is that we supposedly want all children to be born from petri dishes. And yet simultaneously we want there to be too much sex, but also banning sex? So it would be like a hyper-prude, hyper-sexual society? It's incoherent, like I said. It's basically take what the average person hates the most about a hyper-prude society, take what the average person hates most about a hyper-progressive, hyper-sexualized society, hyper-sexually liberated society, like prey on particularly men's insecurities about a society like that, combine those things into one non-existent ideology and sell it to people as what your enemy believes, and then take all the arguably perceptively good parts of those two ideologies from to the average person and claim that's what you believe, is pretty much what I'm picking up here. Because they will flop between being in favor of, sexual prudishness on one hand, but then claim the left wants to ban sex or engage in some hyper-prude, cover up all the women, you can't jack off to female video game characters perspective. It's like, somehow, we want to make society full of sex all the time, and also completely ban it and cover everybody up and make everybody super prude and control everybody's sex life. It's really inconsistent, but it's, fascists don't actually believe in anything, they just have enemies. How many times have we told you that we're not mom and dad, but parent 1 and parent 2? Barak, if neighbors hear these bad words, they'll call the Tolerance Patrol and send us all to gender harmony courses. You must finally understand, Barak, that we have a proven by miracle at Rainbow Tribunal that you are just an accident. Okay, so, once again, the right at the moment is currently going on stage to scream about how children are being allowed, quote-unquote, to do things involving their gender. And now they're Libs of TikTok, one of the biggest right-wing accounts out there, is currently screaming from the rooftops about how people under 30 years old need to be banned from any form of gender-affirming care. The age just keeps going up. The fact is, the people who want to basically force you into camps, to force you into, some sort of gender conversion training, that's the right. The left aren't the ones advocating for camps that force you into being a certain identity. That's what the right does.
Барак, ты уже совсем взрослый и должен...
Your Decayed Slav says my Russian accent is on point. From Decayed Slav, that means a lot.
Сказали на радужном трибунале, что мы не хотели тебя. Это у нас получился случайно.
So yeah, the preview was an accident. But you're my mom and dad.
Барак, ты уже...
Barak, you're an adult and must understand that in our country, you cannot call anyone mom or dad. What, in what universe is this what the left wants, by the way? Isn't it the left that's bad because we want there to be kids who have 2 dads and 2 moms? Saying 2 dads and 2 moms is woke, but it's also woke to ban the words mom or dad, and you have to say parent 1, parent 2. Where does it become woke and where does it stop? It's literally just, let's make up the most inconsistent line of beliefs for our it's literally one-party state propaganda we're watching. And what I really should point out is we know this is bad. This is literally Russian state propaganda. We know it's bad. We know the ideology is bad, which is why I think it's important to look at this propaganda and compare it to the way that the right in America is arguing, and the way they are making their propaganda, and the way they put their rhetoric together, because it is scarily similar. And this isn't all that recent. This is from a year ago or something like that, 2 years ago. Whoever knows, this is actually a couple of years old at this point, I think.
Совсем взрослый и должен понимать, что на стране нельзя никак...
I also like this weird implication, you're an adult now. Little kid. I think the implication is that, if the left won, then they would lower the age of consent so that like this kid's age are adults, or maybe it's a reference to like gender conversion. It's hard to say. Are they calling the left groomers because they consider kids adults for gender conversion, or are they calling the left groomers because if the left won, then they would supposedly lower the age of consent, despite the fact that across the world, it is the conservatives that have always implemented loopholes and or laws that protect usually grown men marrying prepubescent girls. Projection is what I'm saying. They're doing projection.
Кого называть мама или папа. Но за это строго наказывают.
Как дедушку.
Да.
Wait, hold on. We'll go back. Zoe was imprisoned in Rainbow Gulag for a kiss with a man in metro. So public display of affection, I guess, gets you locked up. Wait, hold on. Are public displays of affection even allowed in Russia? Like, unironically, I don't know enough about Russia. I genuinely don't know if I would bet that you are legally allowed to make out with somebody, like, even if it's straight, in a public place in Russia. I feel like that would get your ribcage, like, shattered with the nightstick of, like, a Russian cop. I don't feel like that's the kind of thing they would, like, not frown at. Only if you're straight, I believe. I feel like even in America, people are going to be like, okay, break it up if you're, like, making out in public. I wonder if, like, making out in public is even allowed like that in Russia. Not that far, Xander Hall, but PDA is okay. It's like holding hands and stuff, but you can't, like, make out or whatever. I think there are limiters, but you can have small amounts of intimacy. Okay, that's nice at least. At least Russia's not, like, super hell. It's a bit hellish, but it's not super hell.
Как дедушку.
Да.
Same as
Только не
grandpa.
дедушку, а
Yes,
родители
except not
родителя.
grandpa. But
И мы-
God damn it! I can't read it as fast as they talk. Okay, I can't read the English with a Russian accent as fast as they speak Russian. Same as grandpa.
Да.
Yes,
Только не
except not grandpa, but a parent of a parent. You can't say
дедушку,
grandpa.
а родители
No,
родителя.
this
И
is
мы
what
от
the
него
left
публично
wants.
отреклись.
We have publicly
И
renounced
сегодня-
him. And today, as commemorative anniversary, he will be executed as a leader of fundamental sexists. They're going to execute him because he's a grandpa, or because he's old, I guess. I guess, like, in this future, we execute all of the boomers. The left, like, executes the boomers for, and I quote, as a leader of fundamental sexists.
В честь Великой Годовщины его казнят, как лидера фундаментал-сексистов.
Ой, скорее, а то и так уже опаздываем.
Hurry up, we are already late.
У Барака сегодня первое занятие.
Oh, I like how they've got the kid in, like, a pink shirt, as if that's, like... Yeah, this is hilarious, because they got the kid in, like, a pink shirt to signify, like, oh, look, in this gay future, if you're born a boy, you're not allowed to present masculinely. But, like, at least in America, prior to the 1960s, hot pink, that exact hot pink, was the boys' color. Like, you painted the boys' room that color. Boys had toys that color and clothes that color, while girls tended to wear that light baby blue that's now generally associated with boys. And the reason for that, at the time, the logic was that the hot pink was more in line with the energy that, like, a young boy has, you know, running around, skipping over fucking rivers and catching crawdads, you know, that kind of thing. While girls are supposed to be more calm and calm temperamented and chill and in the house and cleaning things at like 10 so they can learn how to be a housewife or whatever. You know, that very pre-60s idea of things. But as time went by, marketing kind of changed. And literally only because of marketing for kids' toys and baby products, we now associate pink with being very much a feminine color and light blue being more of a masculine color, which is part of why I imagine we dye denim jeans that color. But yeah, like, it really makes you wonder, what if that never happened and we just considered pink to be masculine as we do today, or as we did back then? But it's funny to me that the idea of boys wearing pink is so horrific to the Russian government that they depict it as like the bleak future if their non-existent political opponents win. This is extra funny watching in the days after Putin obviously assassinated like his only viable political opponent.
По гендерной грамотности. Ты, кстати, все уроки выучил?
Да.
А ну-ка назови мне 102 типа гендера.
Скоро их будет вообще 103. Наш руководитель Полу Поль представил новую диссертацию, они открыли...
They have discovered a completely new gender type. Something that I think is really interesting is that the right kind of behaves like a guy alone in an elevator with another guy who's farted and then immediately accuses the other guy of being the one who farted in the elevator. Because the people who are most likely to see a lot of the right-wing propaganda that gets made that aren't part of their in-group are people on the left that are like hate watching it or critiquing it. And so they'll like accuse you to your face, even in private sometimes, of things like this, like, oh, they're going to discover a new gender type. And it's like, you know that's not what anybody who believes in quote-unquote gender ideology, as they like to say, actually thinks, right? The argument that I was under the impression the right believed was simply that they had the right not to refer to you by what pronouns you preferred, while the left is arguing, at least it was my understanding, that as part of basic fundamental human politeness that we all agree to engage in society, unless you're an asshole, just sort of politely recognizing someone's pronouns if they become made known to you and they're not like traditional, and just making some effort to change your speech in order to be polite in that way and respectful is really all that anyone asks of you, and to not be hateful towards people like trans people just because they're trans. However, the right can't really argue with such a libertarian perspective. Like, the idea of, like, supporting trans rights, the position the left actually has on trans rights is one of the most libertarian positions one can possibly hold on the issue. And so the right, while having to feign libertarianism, because many conservatives like to pretend they're libertarians, while trying to feign a libertarian position, have to jacket up their authoritarian agenda in an almost rebellious fighting against the fighting against fascism almost perspective. Like they try to act like they're the real Antifa when they push for conservative policy. And they talk about like the woke left.
Совершенно новый тип гендера. Ну ладно, это потом. Вы опоздаете. Давай.
He's got to learn his genders.
Выбегай.
Все, давай.
Все, удачи тебе сегодня.
Давай, пока.
Давай, скорее.
Oh boy, where's this going? Does he have to legally shave his legs and put on makeup and paint his nails? That's hilarious. Guys, you see, in the future, if the left wins, you'll be forced to be a femboy. It's the forced feminization. Oh my god, guys! This is what they're talking about. This is the future in which all of the white men have been forced feminized. Oh my god, how much do you want to bet at some point in this, like, propaganda ad, like, there's gonna be something about, like, the wife, like, cucking him with, like, a black guy or something? Like, how much more conservative 4chan meme shit is going to be in this Russian state propaganda ad? I'm genuinely shocked. They're using 4chan culture memes to enforce the Russian state in propaganda ads. It is absolutely wild. Yeah, maybe the wife pegs him. Publicly renounced his father. Oh. Moscow, Gay Moon Street, 1923. I don't care. I'm not reading the subtitles.
Слава Радыке.
Слава геям.
Okay, so are we... All right, for starters, can we simply talk about the fact that this is a perfect example of fascists outlawing gayness, drag, and like that type of stuff, but then finding excuses to engage in it anyway. It said anal punishment. I guess you have like legally mandatory anal punishment in this lefty future, I suppose. Is this going to become gay porn? I hope this doesn't turn into gay porn. Yeah. So for starters, like absolutely hilarious, they found a way to like do drag and stuff, ironically, quote unquote, and have it be on state TV. Like, even if the right ends up banning drag and whatnot, we will still see drag queens. And they will be straight cis conservative pundits dressing in drag for conservative ads to demonize drag queens that don't exist because they were banned already. That is where we will still see drag occurring on television. Will be conservatives dressing in drag, ironically, because they have to keep the propaganda machine going, even once the right has won in a country, as they have in Russia, and they hold their power undisputedly. They still have to pretend there is an enemy. They still have to pretend like if they do not have the full support of the people toward the state, then the left will be able to destroy and corrupt their society. You have to completely bow and support the state.
Ты готов?
Glory to the gays. Half poll, minister and administer of anal punishments. Damn. Pre-watch? No, I didn't pre-watch. The sign said, like, anal punishment room before. Jesus Christ. I'm scared for where this is going. I don't know if I can show this on YouTube. Like, did the Russian government, a country that has outlawed being gay, unironically make a gay porno and air it on television as a propaganda ad for the state? Does it let me, like, preview like YouTube does? Let me preview, like, the imagery of the rest of this really fast. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. I like my YouTube channel, guys. I like it. I like my YouTube channel. I want to keep it. I don't want to lose it. Yeah, the writer's barely disguised fetish is popping off here. Wait, it's buffering now. Okay, now the video is literally not working because I forgot this is Twitter and Elon Musk owns it and he broke the entire website. So now, like, something as simple as fast forwarding the video might as well just break the entire page. You might as well literally just pour water into your computer. Let me make sure. Okay, it seems like it's fine. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have any problems in terms of TOS based on what I skipped through. I think we're fine. Zan, what the fuck are you subjecting us to? I understand some people have just shown up. This is a Russian state propaganda ad, as I've said the last 50 times, made by Putin's administration for their non-existent democratic electoral cycle, arguing that this is the future the left will like instill on Russia if like somehow Putin does like loses power or something. Outlawed being gay. That is a dildo.
Готов.
Guys, this is a Russian state propaganda ad. I fast-forwarded, by the way. I made sure there's nothing NSFW in here, so we're safe. This is a Russian state propaganda ad that they made to argue why we have to keep gayness illegal in Russia and why we have to prevent the left from winning. You understand now what I mean when I say they will literally find any reason. I'm worried for your channel. I am too, frankly. I am too. My video on Alexei Navalny and like the whole thing that happened there got super suppressed by YouTube. So I'm not going to mention anything Russia in the SEO of this video. I'm just going to call it like anti-gay campaign ad and not mention Russia at all in any like the title or anything like that, and hopefully that protects it. But I do worry about YouTube like being cringe. However, I think this is I've seen stuff like this on YouTube plenty. Like we've seen video essayists do this kind of stuff on YouTube and be fine. You know, we've seen way more. This looks like it comes from a lefty gay lighting, bisexual lighting video essayist video, right? Like this one shot almost, but with like really low quality camera for some reason. Anyway, this is his dad.
Коля, и ты тут. Я тебя в парике не сразу узнал.
Я сказал, изверг, не называть меня так.
А как же мне тебя называть? Ты же Николай Михайлович. А я есть тот самый Михаил. Папаша твой.
Oh my god, are they gonna make him like the martyr who dies like sticking by his beliefs? He's like, I will not give in, and then they administer the anal punishment. Wait, hold on. The left is also against the death penalty as well. Like, the right makes a massive shitstorm all the time online about how the left is anti-death penalty, and that means the left is, like, easy on crime and easy on murderers. But now all of a sudden the left are the violent, want-to-kill ones and want to, like, execute people with state power. Like, so we're both pro-death penalty and also anti-death penalty. Hard on crime and not hard enough on crime. Like, Biden was racist because he passed the crime bill, which was too hard on crime and too racist, but also he is a cuck because he wants to, like, defund the police, which he doesn't, and be easy on crime because he's afraid of looking racist. Like, it's just the most bizarre mix of things they'll say. None of them can possibly be true at once.
Мало я тебя порол, мало.
The leader of the rebellion movement, anal virgins. Okay, I'm sorry. In the anti-gay world, or like in the gay world, when you want to make your anti-gay rebellion, calling it the anal virgins is like the most gay. That's a very gay name, okay? The anal virgins? Really? You couldn't come up with like the enforcers of family values or just something that sounds like actually cool for like the rebellion group fighting to okay. I mean, I guess they are the only anal virgins, the last remaining anal virgins. Jesus Christ. This is gay porn, you can't convince me otherwise? It absolutely is. This is how the anti-gay state of Russia is getting their rocks off. Just because Russia bans being gay doesn't mean many in the state and in the country are not you know, that are like part of the government aren't also gay. There were plenty of Nazis who were gay, I imagine, who just had to suppress that shit because that's the situation they were in. That's the closest to accurate thing about this. But the Nazis outlawed gayness quite thoroughly and quite quickly, and they executed gays and you know, cross-dressers, trans people, etc. Because, you know, you got to remember the Weimar Republic was very progressive before the Nazis took over. They did a far-right genocide. They did what Republicans today wish they could do.
Сегодня, в честь Великой Радужной революции, мы освободим наше сообщество от сексиста и гендерного экстремиста.
Давай короче, без бабской болтовни.
С помощью этого...
Wait, no, he wants it, though. He's like, let's get to business. With the help of this electrophallus, we shall penetrate your heart and stop it with electricity. So they are going to do a gay execution. They're doing an anal execution. This is also rape as well. Mind you, the right are also the ones who are freaking out about Me Too and how, like, women being empowered to speak out against, like, rapists and sexual assaulters is, like, too dangerous for men because these people, like, hear rapists are bad and they hear men are bad. That's a little bit concerning, personally. Like, I don't know what thought, you know, I think they're admitting a lot there when they interpret that statement that way. They're the ones who are super anti-consent and are mad about consent being taught in schools, and yet now it's the left that wants to do non-consensual gay rape executions. Now, the funny thing about this, guys, is that while the right unironically believes this is the quote-unquote degenerate future that the left wants, if you ever confronted a right-winger on a piece of propaganda like this, it's so absurdist that while it's so absurdist on purpose, because on one hand, those that are crazy enough to believe it literally will never question it or argue with anybody in such a manner where their minds could be changed, while those that believe in the message that this pushes but can't really defend how absurd it is can kind of just fall on, oh, it's just a meme. It's just ironic. It's a joke. It's funny. It's meant to be absurd, you know? So they can kind of like shirk off the absurdity of this and how insane it is to have ever made this by saying, oh, they were just doing a meme. It's ironic.
Этого электрофалоса мы проникнем ему в сердце и остановим его током.
Что ж вы, пидоры?
Jesus Christ, he just drops the F slur. Damn, maybe he does deserve to be executed.
Не можете голову, что ли, отрубить? Все вам надо в жопу.
Ники, начинай.
Ну, Николай, будь мужиком, делай свое дело. Хотя настоящие мужики так не делают.
How is this not the start to a gay porno from Russia? How is it not? This is real state propaganda from Russia, dude. This is the world we live in. Like, guys, seriously. I know this seems like really funny, and it's like kind of jokey and hilarious, and yeah, we're having a funny time here, and we're laughing and everything, but like, this comes from a country that has outlawed being gay entirely, that has banned depictions of being gay in any form of media, and on top of all of that, they're putting out ads in which they still play the victim. Conservatives will be crying about how they're victims as they are leading you to the gas chambers if they win. All of their power comes from the perception that they are somehow victims worthy of, like, some sort of empowerment over the minorities they have already oppressed.
Настоящие мужики так не делают.
Я сказал тебе не называть меня.
Ники, милый. Да, видимо, я, походу, признал тебя не из-за того, ошибся.
And then it's like showing a bunch of, like, it cuts to show a bunch of pride parades as if this is, like, scary. This is what we need to prevent. We need to keep this banned and never allow this to come to Russia. Oh my god, look at this freedom of speech. We can never allow this in our country. Oh my god. Oh my god, they're rebelling.
Оглянись, отец. Мужиков давно не осталось.
А я тебе говорил. Еще в марте 24...
I told you back in March 2024, be a man, go vote. Oh shit, this is recent. Never mind. This is for the coming non-election in 2024. Next month in Russia. Holy shit. This is literally like recent. This is the future that will happen in Russia if Putin doesn't win the non-existent election in 2024. Holy fuck.
4-го года. Будь мужиком. Иди голосуй.
And guys, if you vote in 2024, this is the future we can achieve. We can achieve this future. Oh my lord. Now, all the irony of that being practically a gay porno aside, isn't it strange how that really felt like it was based on all of the culture war topics popular with the current online right in America at the moment? It almost makes you wonder, are those figures getting their talking points from Russia? Or is Russia starting to adopt their culture war talking points to try to popularize conservatism in Russia among its people even further? Yep, only thing missing was mandatory abortions. I think they already confirmed that with the whole, like, last child born outside of a petri dish. And they had to like confirm that the kid was an accident. I guess you're only allowed to not abort kids who are accidents. I don't know how that works. What a strange timeline. What a strange timeline. I really wonder if we're going to see ads like this in the 2024 election. Do you guys think that's what we're going to see? Do you think they'll get this crazy for the Republican campaign ads in the 2024 election? We know that AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, is already spending like hundreds of millions of dollars to fight against the Squad and get them ousted from power in this election for speaking out against Israel. Like, their political careers may very well be over because of this, so we may see how crazy the Republican attack ads get this time around, especially as they're kind of, like, running out of money. We'll see.